What's up everybody on YouTube, AJ Russ back here with another video, and today I'll be ranking the top 5 NFL running backs going into the 2021 season. With the NFL season kicking off in September, I'll be posting a football video weekly leading up to next month's regular season matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Last week I posted my top 5 quarterbacks going into this season, which y'all can go check out. And in this video, I'm ranking the top 5 running backs in the NFL going into this season. But first, starting off with 2 honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is Ezekiel Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys. Zeke has been one of the most dynamic running backs in the league since being drafted 4th overall in 2016. And in his first 4 seasons, he rushed for over 5,400 yards and 40 touchdowns. Last year though, we did not see that same stellar version of Zeke, as it was by far his worst season in the league. Only rushing for 979 yards, 6 touchdowns, and also having issues fumbling the ball. With that 2020 season behind, and the Cowboys having an improved roster with his quarterback Dak Prescott returning, and a healthy offensive line, Zeke is ready to remind people why he's one of the best backs in the league. According to reports, he has trimmed down and lost weight to help improve his explosion running the ball. And Zeke with Dak always works best for the Cowboys offense, as they take pressure off of each other and play well together. The second honorable mention is Dalvin Cook, running back of the Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook has been a player whose stock has grown over the past few seasons since being drafted in the 2nd round of the 2017 NFL Draft. In his past 2 seasons in 2019 and 2020, he rushed for a combined 2,600 yards, and this past season, he had 16 touchdowns. There's been no doubt that Cook has continued to elevate his game in his young career so far, but the success of the Minnesota Vikings has limited Cook's exposure in terms of nationwide media and being recognized as one of the best players in the NFL. Being in the same division as perennial Super Bowl contender Green Bay Packers, and now the Chicago Bears drafting Justin Fields, it will continue to be an uphill battle for the Vikings to win. We know that Dalvin Cook has been the one bright spot in Minnesota, being one of the best rushers in the league, solidifying himself as an outstanding talent. With the honorable mentions out of the way, let's hop into the top 5. At the number 5 spot, we have Cleveland Browns running back Nick Chubb. He was just drafted in 2018 and is still very early in his career, but in his 3 seasons, he's already solidified himself as one of the best rushers in the game. Nick played a huge role in the success of the 2020 Cleveland Browns team, as the team was praised for their elite running attack, and Chubb was a source of their prolific running game. Over the past 2 seasons, he's rushed for 2,561 yards and 20 touchdowns, averaging 8.5 yards per carry, which is elite. Not to mention, when Chubb was in his rookie year when the Browns were still struggling as an organization, he broke a franchise record for the longest rushing touchdown in Browns history, rushing for 92 yards on a play. In 2020, the Browns made their first playoff appearance since 2002, where they beat the Steelers in the first round and narrowly lost to the Chiefs in the AFC divisional round. The team is looking to grow even more from that season, as they are positioned to be a contender in the AFC for years to come. And on July 31st, the Browns and Nick Chubb agreed to a 3-year contract extension, and there's no doubt he'll continue to rise as one of the best backs in the NFL. The 4th spot goes to running back of the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley. At Penn State, Barkley was arguably one of the greatest collegiate running backs of all time, having over 5,500 of all-purpose yards in 3 years. After being drafted in 2018, he continued to dominate, now at the highest level, having a total of 15 touchdowns in his rookie year, having 1,300 rushing yards and 700 receiving yards, and he won the 2018-2019 NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year award. In 2019, Barkley had another strong season, rushing again for over 1,000 yards and showing an elite level of dominance, showcasing that he has the potential to be an all-time great running back. Unfortunately though, last season in his 3rd year, his season was cut short when he tore his ACL in a Week 2 game against the Chicago Bears. After an almost year of recovery, Saquon has been back on the field for this year's training camp, and there's optimism that he'll be ready to play in Week 1 of the regular season, which he will likely be limited in terms of game snaps. Regardless of the situation though, Saquon might be the best back in the game when he is fully healthy. And with him returning to the field, we know that this season will be great. Coming in at number 3 is Christian McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers. Similar to Saquon Barkley, 2020 was filled with injuries for McCaffrey, as he was limited with an ankle injury and other nagging upper and lower body injuries. Those injuries caused him to miss 13 games last year. But when healthy, we all know that McCaffrey is arguably the best back in the game. McCaffrey's career is still very young, and in his 2nd and 3rd seasons, it was his most dominant. In 2018, he ran for almost 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns, and in 2019, he upped his game even more, rushing for over 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. He's also very versatile, not only being an elite runner, but he's also a dynamic receiver at the running back position. In 2019 alone, Christian had 1,000 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, and in his career so far, he's had 16 receiving touchdowns and 2,600 receiving yards. The Carolina Panthers as a team are way better with him on the field, and last year they struggled, finishing the season with a 5-11 record. This season though, Panthers fans are hoping they will have more success with a new quarterback in Sam Darnold, who they acquired from the New York Jets in April, and they were also able to add a lockdown cornerback in the 2021 NFL Draft in J.C. Horn from South Carolina. As the Panthers look to hopefully ascend in the NFC South this year, McCaffrey will be a huge factor in whether they will have a bounce-back season. We're now down to the final 2 running backs, and at number 2 is Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. Kamara has been one of the most electric running backs in the league for several years, and has consistently been maybe the most prominent player in New Orleans outside of Drew Brees. In his 4 seasons in the league, he's totaled over 3,300 rushing yards and 2,800 receiving yards, and he's also been responsible for 58 touchdowns. Last season had to be Kamara's best year, as he rushed for a career-high 16 touchdowns and had a total of 21 touchdowns in 2020. Not only that, but on last year's Christmas game against the Minnesota Vikings, he ran for a career-high 6 touchdowns in one game, which tied an NFL record. Alvin Kamara has been a part of a Saints team who has consistently won the NFC South every year since 2017. In the 2018-19 season, they were close to reaching the Super Bowl, but they lost the NFC Championship game to the LA Rams, which many believe was due to a controversial missed pass interference call. As the Saints are looking for their heir apparent at quarterback between Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill after Drew Brees retired this past offseason, it will be interesting to see if the Saints can pull together another winning season. We know one thing for sure though, Alvin Kamara is going to ball. And there's no doubt he's going to frustrate opposing defenses all season long. Now last but not least, the number 1 running back going into this season is Derrick Henry of the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry is an absolute beast coming out of the backfield, and he isn't built like your typical running back. He's 6'3" and 247 pounds, and he might even be one of the most powerful players in the game. He's been a huge part of the Titans' winning seasons with them making the playoffs the past couple of years, including in 2019 when they lost the AFC Championship to the eventual Super Bowl 54 champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. That's Henry's team success, but his individual feats are amazing in itself. In 2020 alone, he rushed for an outstanding 2,027 yards on 378 carries. He also ran for a career-high 17 touchdowns on the season, and he was so dominant that he won the 2020 NFL Offensive Player of the Year award. In his 5 seasons, he's ran for over 5,800 yards, and on any given play, he's a threat to take the ball to the end zone. His stats and accolades don't tell the whole story about his elite playmaking ability. Last year, Henry had a deadly stiff arm on Buffalo Bills cornerback Josh Norman that went viral, showing the brute strength that Derrick Henry has. Some people may argue that Henry isn't the best running back in the league, but it's obvious that he is. After having a tremendous 2020 season, the only way is up for Derrick Henry and the Titans, as he'll continue to trend towards being one of the best running backs in league history. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for my rankings on the top 5 running backs for this upcoming season. Let me know if you agree with the list or what your rankings would be in the comments down below. As I said earlier in the video, I'll be posting an NFL video every week leading up to when the regular season starts. So stay tuned for my next video next week, where I'll be ranking the top 5 wide receivers for 2021. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRuss. And stay tuned for more content. Y'all be blessed.